Soy sauce is on almost every table in the world. It sits next to sushi in Japanese restaurants. It shows up in Chinese stir-fries, Korean marinades, Thai dipping sauces, and Western barbecue rubs. Most people use it every week without thinking twice. And almost nobody knows what they are actually buying. Because the soy sauce most people reach for on a supermarket shelf is not traditional soy sauce. It is something that looks like soy sauce, tastes vaguely like it, and is produced in a fraction of the time using a completely different process. And once you understand the difference, that bottle on your shelf starts to look very different. Today, we are decoding soy sauce. We are going to look at what it actually is, how the real version is made, why fermentation changes everything, and what separates a great soy sauce from the watery, sharp-tasting liquid most people have been using their whole lives. No snobbery, no gatekeeping, just the real ingredient logic. Quick pause before we go deeper. If you're enjoying this so far, hit that thumbs up button below the video. It really helps me reach more food lovers like you. And if you're new here, subscribe to Food Decoded for weekly deep dives into what you're really eating. The starting point is the ingredient list. Real traditionally brewed soy sauce contains 4 things: soybeans, wheat, salt, water. That is it. What happens next is where it gets interesting. Those 4 ingredients are combined and inoculated with a specific mold culture called koji. If koji sounds familiar, that is because we have talked about it in the Miso video. Koji is also the organism responsible for fermenting miso, sake, and several other foundational Japanese ingredients. It is one of the most important microorganisms in all of Japanese food culture. Once koji is introduced to the soybean and wheat mixture, fermentation begins. This process is slow. Real soy sauce ferments for months, often longer. During that time, the koji breaks down proteins and starches into amino acids and sugars. Those amino acids are what create the deep, savory, complex flavor that real soy sauce is known for. They are also what creates umami. Not the fake version, not sodium overload. The actual umami compounds that make your mouth water and your brain register depth. That takes time to build. And time is exactly what the cheap version skips. Because there is another way to make something that looks like soy sauce. It is called acid hydrolysis. In this process, soybeans are broken down chemically using hydrochloric acid. The process takes hours instead of months. The result is a liquid that is dark, salty, and has a rough approximation of soy sauce flavor. But it is not the same thing. It lacks the depth of fermentation. It lacks the layered umami. And it often has a sharper, slightly harsh taste that disappears quickly rather than lingering. You can identify this type of soy sauce on the label. Look for the words hydrolyzed soy protein or hydrolyzed vegetable protein. If you see those words, you are not buying brewed soy sauce. You are buying a chemically produced approximation. That is not necessarily dangerous, but it is worth knowing. And it is one of the main reasons so many people think soy sauce is just a salty condiment with no real complexity. They have simply never tasted the real thing. If what you just learned surprised you, do me a small favor. Drop a like on this video. It helps other curious eaters find this exact breakdown when they need it most. And if you haven't subscribed yet, now is the perfect moment. Because the most interesting part is coming up next. Now here is where it gets more specific. Because even within traditionally brewed soy sauce, there are significant differences. The most common type in Japanese cooking is koikuchi shoyu. Koikuchi means dark mouth. It refers to the deep brown color and full-bodied flavor. This is the all-purpose soy sauce, the one you are most likely to find on restaurant tables in Japan. It is made with roughly equal parts soy and wheat. That wheat is not just a filler. It contributes sweetness, aroma, and helps balance the saltiness of the soy. This is why good shoyu does not just taste salty. It tastes round. Then there is usukuchi shoyu. Usukuchi means light mouth. but light here refers to color, not salt. This type of soy sauce is actually saltier than koikuchi. It is lighter in color, milder in flavor, and used specifically in cooking where you do not want a dark sauce to change the color of the dish. Think delicate soups, light broths, pale sauces. This is a functional distinction, not just a flavor one. The wrong soy sauce in the wrong dish does not just taste off. It can visually change the entire outcome. Then there is tamari. Tamari is the soy sauce that is made with little to no wheat. In many cases, it is completely wheat-free. That makes it naturally gluten-free in most versions. But that is not the main point. The main point is that tamari has a very different flavor profile. It is thicker, darker, richer, less bright. Where koikuchi has a kind of sprightly saltiness, tamari is more dense and slow-moving. It is often used as a dipping sauce rather than a cooking ingredient. And when you taste them side by side, the difference is immediately obvious. This is why the idea of just soy sauce as a single ingredient is misleading. It is a category. And within that category, the differences in flavor, color, saltiness, and purpose are significant. Using the wrong type does not ruin a dish, but using the right type makes it noticeably better. Now here is the part that connects everything. Soy sauce is not just a condiment in Japanese cooking. It is one of the 3 pillars of Japanese flavor. We have already decoded dashi. We have decoded miso. And now we are looking at soy sauce. These 3 ingredients appear together constantly in Japanese cooking. Not always in large quantities, but almost always together in some combination. Dashi provides the base. Miso adds depth and funk. Soy sauce adds salt, color, and a specific kind of umami that dashi and miso alone cannot create. Understanding soy sauce is not just about buying a better bottle. It is about understanding how Japanese flavor actually works as a system. Each element in that system does a specific job. And soy sauce's job is to add salinity that does not taste flat, to add color without heaviness, to add complexity without overwhelming. That is a very specific role. And chemically produced soy sauce struggles to fill it. Because depth is not just about concentration. It is about the layers that fermentation builds over time. A brewed soy sauce that has fermented for 12 months contains hundreds of flavor compounds. A chemically produced one contains far fewer. You can measure that difference. And once you have tasted the difference, you cannot untaste it. So what should you actually be looking for? The label should say naturally brewed or traditionally brewed. The ingredient list should be short. Soybeans, wheat, salt, water. There should be no mention of hydrolyzed protein, caramel coloring, or corn syrup. And the price should reflect what it takes to make something properly. Good soy sauce is not expensive in a luxury sense, but it is not as cheap as the large plastic bottles that dominate most supermarket shelves. It is priced the way any fermented craft product is priced, because it takes time, and time costs something. The real question is not which soy sauce is the best. The real question is why most people never stop to read the label on one of the most used ingredients in their kitchen. And that changes everything. Because once you know what to look for, the whole category becomes clear. Brewed versus chemically produced. Koikuchi versus usukuchi versus tamari. All-purpose versus specific. These are not obscure distinctions. They are the building blocks of understanding what is actually in your food. Soy sauce is not complicated, but it does reward the small effort of knowing what it is. So the next time you reach for that bottle, flip it around, read the ingredient list, and ask yourself whether what you are about to use is the product of months of careful fermentation or a few hours of chemical shortcutting. The flavor difference will tell you the answer before the label does. If this video helped you understand soy sauce a little better, please leave a like. And if you haven't subscribed yet, join Food Decoded for more culinary clarity every week. If you want to keep building your understanding of Japanese flavor, check out Miso Explained on the left. We break down exactly what miso is, how it is made, and why it matters beyond soup. Or if you want to go back to where Japanese flavor really begins, watch Why Japanese Food Tastes So Different. It's Dashi on the right. I'm Food Decoded. See you in the next one.